We're too Eurocentric on this crisis in the sense that we think this is about Russia versus the West. It's much broader than that. The war in Ukraine has ignited a bigger debate about the new global world order. It's an uncomfortable debate for us Europeans and the North Americans to have because we fully realize that we've got more to lose than to gain on this one. I think we're moving towards a world where we have flexible alliances, and that means that it's not going to be as black and white as it was during the Cold War when it was bipolar, or even during the post-Cold War when it was rather unipolar. And democracy, the end of history concepts were sometimes exported by force, like in Iraq, or sometimes being a failure, like in Afghanistan. So we probably need to be a little bit more flexible in our thinking. And may I add also, this is going to mean that in some cases we're going to have to cooperate with countries that we don't feel that comfortable with. Final point on this, I think there was a wonderful article by Gideon Rachman in the Financial Times talking about the empire of lies, which is Russia, but then there's the empire of hypocrisy, which is us in the West, because, we have a certain value set, but sometimes we sacrifice those values to do stuff with people who don't exactly agree with what we do.
We still thought after the fall of the Iron Curtain that Francis Fukuyama might be right, and that sort of our model of life, which we obviously consider to be the best, would sort of spreads peacefully across the planet, and that sooner or later the Russians would move our way, and even the Turks and everybody. And then we had a sort of a hangover time where we woke up, and a couple of years ago the European Union said on Russia, engage, constrain, push back on China's systemic rivalry. And we never expected for the 24th of February to happen, but it did happen. Yeah. And it's like a shock therapy for us. And now we have to get our act together, and naivety is gone. Holidays from history is over.
You said hypocrisy, you said naivete, and I'll say some of it is just greed. Because we had plenty of warning since the Munich Security Conference when Putin announced his war against the liberal order, to the war in Chechnya. What happened in Grozny is the same as what you see in Aleppo, which is the same thing that you see in Mariupol. Take a look at the photos. It is hard to identify one set of dust and rubble from another. He has invaded Georgia. He invaded Ukraine. Each and every time he shot down MH17. We have the Litvinenko murder in London. There are murders in Berlin. What more did we need to know about his stated, published intentions? He published an op-ed last summer suggesting that the Ukrainian people have no right to exist. Now he's acting out on that ethnocide, on that genocide. I think it's greed. I think our businesses are happier right now, and many of them from many countries, from the United States through Germany, everyone, continuing to do business in Russia, continuing to pay taxes in Russia, continuing with their taxes to finance war crimes, while the taxpayers in our countries are paying to battle that same war crime. Yeah. There's something illogical here, and the only thing that comes down to is got to be an element, at least, of greed.